August 18th, that's the day 3.4 million seniors could be forced to stand in long lines at Social Security field offices, all because of a brand new PIN rule you probably haven't even heard about yet. The SSA says it's to protect you from fraud, but with office closures, staffing shortages, and appointment delays stretching for weeks, this policy could cause chaos for millions of retirees who depend on their benefits arriving without disruption. Starting August 18th, certain actions on your SSA account will require a multi-step PIN process, and if you can't complete it online, you'll have no choice but to show up in person. Here's what the SSA isn't saying exactly who will be forced into this new process. But after digging into the official rollout plan and leaked internal guidelines, I've found the categories of seniors most likely to be affected and why you might be on that list without even knowing it. And the most worrying part: this policy isn't a temporary fix, it could be permanent. That means starting in just days, millions could be navigating a system that's already overloaded. If you rely on Social Security, SSI, or SSDI, you need to know whether you'll be impacted before the first deadline hits. Let's break it down. Now, you might be wondering why this change is happening in the first place. The Social Security Administration has been battling an increasing wave of fraud attempts targeting senior citizens. These scams have become more sophisticated over the years, with fraudsters using advanced techniques to steal benefits and personal information from vulnerable seniors. The new PIN system is designed to add an extra layer of security, making it harder for scammers to access sensitive information and benefits. But here's where things get complicated. The new system requires a multi-step PIN process for certain actions, including accessing online accounts and making specific changes to benefit information. While this sounds straightforward for many of us who are used to digital security measures, it presents a significant challenge for many seniors who might not be as comfortable with technology or may have limited access to it. The timing of this change is particularly concerning when we look at the current state of Social Security offices. These facilities have been operating under significant strain since the COVID-19 pandemic, with reduced staff and limited operating hours in many locations. Some offices are still working through backlogs from previous closures, and now they're about to face an influx of seniors who need assistance with this new PIN system. Let's talk about what this means in practical terms. For many seniors, especially those living in rural areas or with limited mobility, getting to a Social Security office isn't as simple as hopping in a car and driving there. Some need to arrange transportation, often depending on family members or community services. Others might need to travel considerable distances, as not every community has a local Social Security office. The numbers here are staggering. We're looking at potentially 3.4 million seniors who might need to visit these offices in person. This isn't just a statistic, it represents real people, many of whom are in their 70s, 80s, or even 90s, who will need to navigate this new requirement. Some might need to make multiple trips if they encounter any issues or if the documentation they bring isn't sufficient. What's particularly challenging about this situation is the contrast between the policy's intent and its real-world impact. While protecting seniors from fraud is crucial, the implementation of this security measure might inadvertently create new hardships for the very people it's meant to protect. Think about seniors with health conditions that make travel difficult, or those who live in areas with extreme weather conditions. Now they might need to brave these challenges to maintain access to their benefits. The staffing situation at Social Security offices adds another layer of complexity to this issue. Over the past few years, these offices have experienced significant staffing cuts, leading to longer wait times and reduced service capacity. Now, with this new PIN requirement, these already stretched resources will need to accommodate a substantial increase in visitors. This brings us to an important point about digital literacy among seniors. While many older Americans have embraced technology, there's still a significant portion of the senior population that finds digital systems challenging. The multi-step PIN process, which might seem straightforward to younger generations, could be overwhelming for some seniors. This digital divide isn't just about knowing how to use technology, it's about comfort level, access to devices, and understanding of security concepts. The Social Security Administration has stated that this change is necessary to protect beneficiaries from fraud, and they're not wrong about the threat. Social Security-related scams have been on the rise, with fraudsters using increasingly sophisticated methods to target seniors. In 2022 alone, there were thousands of reported cases of Social Security fraud, resulting in millions of dollars in losses for seniors. However, the question many are asking is whether there could have been a more balanced approach. Could the implementation have been more gradual? Could there be alternative verification methods for seniors who find it difficult to visit offices in person? These are valid concerns that highlight the challenge of balancing security with accessibility. The impact of this change extends beyond just the seniors who need to visit offices. Family members and caregivers might need to take time off work to accompany their elderly relatives to Social Security offices. Community organizations that provide transportation services to seniors might see increased demand. Local senior centers and advocacy groups might need to allocate resources to help their members understand and navigate these new requirements. It's worth noting that this change comes at a time when many seniors are already facing other challenges. The rising cost of living, healthcare expenses, and the ongoing effects of the pandemic have created additional stress for many older Americans. Adding another layer of complexity to accessing their benefits could feel overwhelming for some. Let's talk about the technological aspects of this new PIN system. The multi-step process typically involves creating a PIN, verifying identity through multiple factors, and maintaining this information securely. While this type of security is common in banking and other digital services, it's new territory for many Social Security beneficiaries who have been using simpler systems for years. The Social Security Administration has promised to provide support and guidance through this transition, but the sheer scale of the change raises questions about their capacity to handle it effectively. With 3.4 million potential office visits looming, even the best prepared offices might struggle to provide timely assistance to everyone who needs it. This situation highlights a broader challenge in government services: how to modernize and secure systems while ensuring they remain accessible to all users, particularly those who might have difficulties with new technology. It's a balance that many agencies are struggling to find, and the Social Security Administration's experience with this PIN requirement could provide valuable lessons for future policy changes. For those wondering about alternatives, there are some options, but they're limited. Some seniors might be able to get help from family members or trusted friends who are more comfortable with technology. Others might find assistance through community organizations or senior centers. However, for many, an in-person visit to a Social Security office will be unavoidable. The timing of this change starting August 18th adds another layer of complexity. Late summer can bring challenging weather conditions in many parts of the country, potentially making office visits more difficult for seniors. Additionally, this is a time when many families are dealing with back-to-school preparations, which could impact the availability of family members to assist their elderly relatives. Looking at the broader picture, this situation raises important questions about how we as a society handle the intersection of security needs and accessibility, particularly for vulnerable populations. While protecting seniors from fraud is crucial, the implementation of security measures needs to consider the real-world capabilities and limitations of the people they affect. The impact on Social Security office staff should also be considered. These employees, already dealing with regular duties and existing backlogs, will need to help seniors understand and navigate the new PIN system. This additional responsibility could lead to longer wait times for other services and potentially increased stress for staff members. There's also the question of communication about this change. How many seniors are aware that this is coming? How many understand what they'll need to do? Clear communication about such significant changes is crucial, especially when dealing with a population that might not all have easy access to digital information channels. The Social Security Administration has faced similar challenges before, but the scale of this change is unprecedented. The combination of the new PIN requirement, the large number of affected seniors, and the current state of Social Security offices creates a unique situation that will require careful management and possibly additional resources. For those who can use the online system, the process might be relatively straightforward. However, the concern isn't primarily about these individuals, it's about those who can't easily access or navigate digital systems. These are often the most vulnerable seniors, including those with limited mobility, cognitive challenges, or limited access to technology. The geographic distribution of Social Security offices adds another layer of complexity to this situation. In some areas, particularly rural regions, seniors might need to travel significant distances to reach their nearest office. This can be particularly challenging for those who don't drive or have limited transportation options. Looking ahead, this change might serve as a catalyst for broader discussions about how government services are delivered to senior citizens. Should there be more flexible options for identity verification? Could mobile services be expanded to reach seniors who have difficulty traveling to offices? These are questions that might need to be addressed as our population continues to age. The role of community organizations and advocacy groups will be crucial in helping seniors navigate this change. Many of these organizations are already preparing to provide additional support, but they too might face resource constraints as they try to meet increased demand for assistance. It's worth considering the long-term implications of this change. While the immediate concern is about the potential surge in office visits, the new PIN system will become a permanent part of how seniors interact with their Social Security benefits. This means that ongoing support and education will be needed, not just during the initial implementation. The Social Security Administration's challenge is significant. They need to protect seniors from fraud while ensuring that legitimate beneficiaries can access their benefits without undue hardship. The success of this new PIN requirement will likely depend on how well they can balance these competing needs. For seniors and their families watching this video, it's important to start preparing now if you think you might be affected by this change. Consider whether you'll need assistance with the new PIN system, and if so, start planning how you'll get that help. If you think you'll need to visit a Social Security office, try to gather all necessary documentation ahead of time to avoid multiple trips. As we wrap up this discussion, it's clear that while the intention behind this new PIN requirement is good, protecting seniors from fraud, the implementation could create significant challenges for many older Americans. The success of this change will depend largely on how well the Social Security Administration can support those who need help, and how communities come together to assist their senior members through this transition. This situation serves as a reminder of the complex challenges involved in modernizing government services while ensuring they remain accessible to all. As we move forward, it will be crucial to find ways to balance security needs with accessibility, particularly for vulnerable populations like seniors. The coming months will reveal how this change actually plays out in practice, and whether the concerns about office visits and accessibility prove to be as significant as anticipated. What's certain is that this represents a major shift in how millions of seniors will interact with their Social Security benefits, and its effects will be felt well beyond the initial implementation date of August 18th. Remember, if you or someone you know might be affected by this change, start preparing now. Don't wait until the last minute to understand what you need to do. And if you found this information helpful, make sure to share it with others who might need to know about these coming changes. Stay informed, stay prepared, and most importantly, don't hesitate to seek help if you need it.